What up? What up? What up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Damn, thing was lagging out. What up, little Tommy? Scott, Bassing with Big Malone, TM Bassmaster, John, Dave, Little Rich, Daniel, JP. There's a little bit of an echo. I can kind of hear that. Where the fuck? I don't know why it's echoing that bad, I guess. You still hear the echo? What up, Tom? Does anybody else hear an echo? What the hell? I don't have anything on. Maybe it's picking up. Hold on, let me back the... Can you still hear it? What up, Brendan? Does anybody else hear echo? Yeah, I think it was that I moved. I was too close or something to my computer because it's literally right underneath it. But what up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Everybody doing tonight? My damn mouth is so damn dry, dude. I'm gonna be talking about some topwater baits, pre-spawn topwater baits that I like to use, and some ones that I've actually used and probably didn't have the best success with and stuff like that. But I also have a few other stuff that I was gonna show as well that I remember I forgot to show last time to a couple people. There was and then also I have some baits to show too that I posted up on Instagram as well. One video I was going to show was that was actually the JP. I think I was talking to him about these one time, and it was this isn't really a topwater bait, but it's the Jackal 5-0s, and it's a pretty dense, soft plastic. It's really meant for like a backgliding bait. That's strictly what it is. Very dense. I think each one weighs about like 21 grams, so like 3/4 of an ounce. So they're pretty dense, and they have that OSP, like sort of like a beaver type of appendages, and then the body's sort of like a bull flat sort of type of deal. So hold on 1 second. You got this. Let me hold up straight. Just trying to get slippery as hell. But it's got that and like I said, you rig this pretty much. You can rig it either way if you want, but to get that backgliding action, you can just rig it like this, with the EWG facing this way right here. There's like a little crease right here, and then just it'll glide pretty much right back to you. So it's a pretty interesting bait, and it has two also little appendages in the inside too, like tentacles, and two outer legs. But it's a pretty nice bait, and they're not that expensive wise. JDM. That's the good thing about Jackal, kind of. They're not so expensive. What up, Adam? But they're pretty nice. What else? What was the other thing I was going to show? Trying to remember. Besides that, that was probably the only thing I had that was something that it was before I forgot. Yeah, it does, JP. I had that one actually too. It's right here. They do. They're very similar. And I'm pretty sure you probably could do the same sort of thing with the OSP beaver, you just probably rig it the opposite direction. It probably would do the same thing. And this is that the power glider, but it is like a little bit more compact body, but it's still really dense for its size. Really nice bait. And this one doesn't really have any like sort of like indication slots of like where to rig it, which is kind of weird, but you obviously would just rig it this way. But the one thing I never understood on some of these backgliding baits is why they never had like the spot for where the hook should go. Should, you know, kind of maybe not have appendages right there, or kind of maybe keep like one out the way or something, because it really makes no sense to me why they do that. So, and like I said, the power bait sent from Japan is I love it. All right, so that was the, what's it called? That was pretty much the baits that I'll show also before I get into that one. Also got some baits from Debo, which was pretty cool. He did a giveaway, it was about like 2 weeks ago. And he had sent a little custom square bill. This is actually a bigger, the S, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name of this one. The S crank. And so this one I don't have this size. This one's pretty damn big. The one I have is a lot smaller. Actually, I think I have it right, one of them over there. Let's see. Yeah, it's right here. So this is a smaller version. I actually repaired this one. It had cracked. I just ended up gluing it. And still actually works, but the this is the one Debo sent. So a lot bigger. So, but it actually has a pretty decent sound to it. It's not bad. Oh, so it is the 2.0. I was thinking it was the 2, but I just never actually knew it was that damn big. Jeez. It's actually pretty nice. I might have to get some of those. I didn't know it was that big. 1.2 though, like I said, even when I had it broken, it still works pretty damn good. It's pretty crazy that it still performs pretty well, even after getting damaged like that. But that was one of them. Then he also sent Stunner, which is pretty cool because I've actually wanted to try one of these, and it's in a good color too, black and gold. I haven't even opened it. And it's a slow sinking jerkbait, which is a little bit different than, you know, your basic 110. Pretty good packaging. Keep the hooks in place. Oh yeah, that's a nice color. Oh yeah, that's real nice. So you got that gold, black back, a little bit of flake on the top, fine flake, silver. And you got that nice orange belly, kind of like that Kinkoro Japanese color, but it's pretty much just a black gold, which is pretty sick. And actually, there's another bait I actually got from someone else I'm going to show you guys that is in a black and gold, but it's a pretty interesting black gold you really don't see. Yeah, the S cranks are silent, but that's a it's like a blank. You know, the ones you buy secondhand. It's not really going to be from Megabass directly, probably. And the other bait was 6 cents provoke. I've never actually used one of these. I've heard good things about them. Nice color he sent. Come on, focus. Oh, come on. Not wanting to focus. Oh, man. It's a nice color though. It's got like this pearl flake in it. I mean, not pearl, just pearl color to it. There we go. And when as you kind of move it, you'll see that pearl in it. It's a pretty sick color. It's like a shad sort of, but also I'm trying to think of this other name for this bait that I like. It's like something, you know. Trying to see if anybody has some. It could. I mean, it might be freeze. I'm not sure. You're the only one that said that, so maybe try to hit the change the pixel rating. Maybe it's on like a different pixel. Try to put up higher. Sometimes that works for me. I don't know why it does that. And then the other two was pretty sick. He sent these because I never even knew they had these bigger type cranks like this. It's pretty sick. Oh shit! I just took it out the package. But he sent the Cloud9, the Magnum SB, and this is pretty damn sweet. I didn't even know they were that damn big, but that's a tank. And it goes 5 to 10 feet, but so does the that OSP crank I had. But I'm able to fish it in pretty shallow water, just doing stop and go retrieves. But it's a pretty sick bait. Silent, which I like even more. Got that chartreuse belt. And then I will take that clip off. I hate those damn oval clips. Split rings. But it's a sick paint job. Kind of looks like the river herring we got here. Yep, silent. But it's a beefy bait. 1.5 ounces and 104 millimeters and 5 to 10 feet. So it's not bad. But I bet you if I put it on 20-pound line, it should go pretty shallow. And then the next one he sent, which was the Mega Dog 130, another nice bigger size bait. The hell? Another nice paint job, shad, that pearl in the body. Let me see what the name of this one is. Yeah, 4K shad is the name. Trying to see if someone says something. Yeah, Malone, the ghost metal colors, I think is the one I was talking about that Lucky Craft kind of has. That I like a lot. But it's a pretty nice bait. It has a little bit of a noise to it, so you'll get that. So it's not going to make too much noise, which I like. Doesn't really have those side-to-side knockers, really. Yeah, it's a nice bait. And this is, does it say, 1.2 ounces, 130 millimeters. I'll definitely use that because I like my larger walking baits. And then, let me see, the other two. I think he's kind of sent these, I'm not sure if he made these or this was somebody else who made these that sent them to him. There was some soft plastic he had sent. And they were kind of interesting. And these frogs here, actually, I'm wondering if they float or they sink, but they're pretty dope. It's got like a little like frog legs, and the body's pretty chunky. Like that's a pretty dense amount of plastic there. So that'll definitely take some beat, and it's definitely tough. Like you can pull on it pretty well, and it's not ripping or tearing. So I gotta definitely see if they float or not, but they're pretty cool. And the legs definitely move, and they'll probably catch water as you're twitching on the surface if they float. And then he sent these other ones, which was like a weird alien creature type bait. Almost reminds me of a Jean LaRue type bait. I forget the damn name of it. But it's pretty interesting. It's like a damn alien. But they're called Epic Manders and the Poison Dart Frog. What up, Tim? And then these guys here, I've never actually tried these, and I was thinking they would actually be pretty good on like a little finesse jig, and that's the young Helgramites. Like they're a pretty good size, but they're not too small, and I think they would work perfect on a little finesse jig. It's a good little color. You got the kind of green pumpkin copper bottom. Wish it would focus. Moving too much. There we go. But got that copper belly. But these would definitely, I can see these definitely getting good on a finesse jig. This is a Copper Creek Atom. It's a pretty nice color. And then that was it. Well, he also sent these other ones. They're kind of stinky. I don't want to touch them before touching everything else. Oh yeah, they're straight up garlic. But these here are like a crawl bait, and it's a weird bait. It's got like two crawl like appendages, like a trigger crawl, and then it has these kind of curly grub tail appendages on the back. So and it's got that ring sort of rod body. Yeah, that stinks. But I don't mind the garlic, to be honest. The garlic ain't bad. Alright, so, and then the other one was actually, this bait here was actually from Dave Richardson. He kind of sent me this frenzy bait because he saw me talking about the frenzy cranks. And he was telling me that, you know, he had the ones that were in the hard shell container versus having the ones that are in the packs. And I've never actually tried looking for those ones specifically neither, but I do have the deep diver one that came in the hard shell and the walking baits, but the not the lipless one. And it's definitely different, sort of like how the deep diver is different than the one that comes in the pack. So, and I think it's really nice. But the color is sick, and it's like a black gold. I mean, a black, yeah, black gold, and but it's not really a black gold you see a lot. It's got that holographic body on it, that foil, and then that bottom orange is like it's like a reddish orange. It's not really like a normal orange you see like on most cranks today. And then underneath, where you see on the black back that you see on the top, on the spots that it seems like it obviously got like maybe a little bit of a hook hitting it, or maybe over the time package hitting it, it's got like this weird like foils underneath that you can see that holographic foil coming through, and it looks sick. It's I probably won't be able to see it, but it. Let me see if it will focus. Nope. I'm gonna keep dropping this damn baits. There we go. So you can cut. There it is. See how you can kind of get it comes through like on the edges there. It's pretty sick. And there's like little tiny chips of it, and it's pretty nice. And it has a good sound to it. I'll show you the difference in the sound. So that's the older, obviously, version of the Frenzy Rattler. And then this is the ones that are in the pack. And it obviously this one has that molded face to it. Of course, it focuses it, no problem on that. And this one actually has like a combination of a rattle. It actually has like a little knocker in the head and then a rattle in the body. So you got that, and then so definitely way different. So I'm definitely gonna try it, but I don't want to use it before. I'm gonna save it so that that'll be a backup. I don't want to lose that. Yeah, Adam, it's the Frenzy Rattler. Trying to put it back in the package. So that's the old. This is the newer one, and then that's the older packaging. So you'll get that hard plastic, and then you get the the regular bubble plastic packaging on the newer one. And then it says a little bit more, obviously, on that newer packaging. Has like a thing on the side that says J. Ellis or J. Elias winning lures of 2002 Bassmaster Classic. Yeah, Daniel, that's true. Because when everybody in the lure and then you don't have a backup, man, that's like the worst feeling ever. I had a thing in my cart on hookup tackle that I was gonna buy soon, but freaking the color that I really been, it was that Prespawn killer. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden everybody wanted to buy it. I was like, what the hell? There was like 8 or 10 or a little bit, maybe I think more than that left, and they were just gone. But that pink color is still available, so I'll try to get that one. But kind of sucked, because that's what I really wanted to have for this spring coming up. That color gets demolished. But yeah, I don't know. For the time being, they were pretty nice. The like deep cranks, and then the walking baits are pretty similar to like the spook, but they have a little bit of a like wider walk to them than the spook. But they're pretty similar body wise. They're just a little bit more flat. They're kind of actually like the older spook was, where it had a little bit more of a flatter belly to it. But they definitely were pretty nice for the time being. And they had a few features in the baits that like you see today in certain baits like Mega Bass and stuff like that, where they have that kind of like hole or indent inside the lip to allow the bait to go down quicker and stuff like that, and respond a little bit easier when you're inputting stuff into the rod, you know, make the bait move or whatever. Let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, there's a few Hellgrammites out there, Tim, that are pretty nice. I just really don't use them, but now that I've seen them, I guess, in person like that, they do seem pretty good for like a little finesse jig. And I guess, and also with, you know, with the finesse jig weight, it'll probably be perfect with the fall. It's not falling too fast. What up, Michael? And so yeah, so that's about everything I got from in the mail recently. And then pretty much now we'll just get into the Topwater stuff. So we'll start off. So what I was going to talk today more about is like topwater baits that are mainly for fishing like above at least 50, 55 degrees. 10 right now, honestly, I'm going to probably start using topwater soon, within like the next week or so. I've seen a few fish engaging on like top pretty recently. I'm not sure why all of a sudden, but I think it is because of the perch. There's so much perch inside the shallow water that they're just coming in by the like boatloads and feeding off those. And I think that's why I wasn't catching really any bigger size bass that recently, because I think there's just so much perch for them to eat that they don't really have to worry about, you know, they're not going to worry about my bait. So that's why I'm going to try to use a few perch baits that I have paint wise, and see if that works. So, but yeah. Do you mean like topwater, or do you mean like just in bug baits in general? But yeah, if you mean just bug baits in general, I have used bug baits, but not like main like US brand stuff really. I have a few JDM bug baits. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. Yeah, JP, the Nico one, I forgot about that. Nico, they do make nice stuff. It's just their prices are a little expensive, but I do get that it's like a Lastech and it's a JDM type of brand, so I do get that. What up, Dax? I forgot. I don't think I even said what up to you. And but oh, just in general. Yeah, I have bug baits. I have a few topwater actually bug baits that I could show actually. I have the body down there over here. But I have these here, which are like a floating jig. They're supposed to imitate like a little cicada or beetle. They're pretty sick. This color right here is really nice because you get that little indicator on the head. It helps to really spot it out when you're really fishing it. But it's literally pretty much like a little floating jig. There's a hard body underneath. Like if you slip the body like this, you'll see that there's a hard jig body underneath. And then so that body just slips over it and it stays on there. So the whole thing is actually not solid, the body itself. It just slips over that hard shell that's in there, and that's what kind of keeps the bait up and floating. But it comes with that little weed guard right there, and it's a pretty nice stiff weed guard. You can mess with it and bend it out a little bit to get it a little bit stiffer, and it has that nice little cupped popper type lip. So you just pop that, and the appendages will kind of move, and you don't really have to pop the bait pretty hard to get it to move. Really, it takes really light movement. I have two of those, one brown, one in black with that indicator. This one's a good one. Haven't caught any big fish with them, but still catching fish with it. So. Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's sort of like, the Z-Man. You only get like 3 or 4 baits, but they last a long time. You're gonna get like 20, 50, or 30 fish on one bait. So I guess it kind of pays for itself. You would go through like 3 or 4 packs of regular plastics. It's giving it cricket. Yeah, it could, like I said, it can mimic pretty much like all types of bugs, really. A beetle, water spider, damn cicada. Yeah, and then I also have the depths, the orbs. This guy right here, it's the Komushi. It's like a little frog. You slash bug bait. It's a pretty small bait. You're really supposed to nose hook them with a wacky hook, but I ended up hooking one like a sort of like jig style. But they have a really sick action to them. They're for their size. Like I can't even hold this damn thing, but it's small. But the action is pretty nice on them, and it creates a nice little ripple on the water. You'll just have those just like that. Just kind of walk on top of the surface and you just twitching the rod lightly. But the like I said, weedless wacky hook works better if you just nose hook it. Yeah, I do that same thing, sort of add them with my wake baits. I always look at them with looking at the light like that to see the color, what it looks like from underneath. What up, Bella? Yeah, Adam loves the bug baits. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does come in 2 sizes. That one I think is the larger size, and then the other one is smaller. That one's the daddy. The other one is I think the smaller one. So definitely, I think I would get the bigger one. I would say get the bigger one because it probably just it casts a lot better. It's not bad at all. It's like casting a 1/4 ounce like crankbait. Yeah, I don't think really, and that fishery too was pretty tough overall. Like a lot of guys were, it was like almost like junk fishing where it was just like one bait was working, then another one, and then another one, and then one, obviously Gus definitely figured out, where to find those fish at. So, but I think it was just overall pretty tough. So there was really a few specialty baits like swim baits and stuff like that, but those were guys that were just, I think, pretty much gambling in it and saying, hey, if I'm gonna catch him, I'm gonna catch him, and if I don't, I don't. Because there was definitely guys that definitely saw what he was doing, Gus, and they could have done the same thing, but it seems like they weren't doing that, or either they just didn't find the fish that he was finding and just didn't get that engagement he was. What about the hard bait lineup? Hold up. No, the Berkeley makes good baits. It's just, sometimes they tend to copy some stuff, sometimes they don't, but they do make, good stuff. That Money Badger bait, that crank, I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. Might have to get one myself. But like I said, that was pretty much about that stuff. But all right, let's get into the actual top order. So one bait actually that I was going to show you guys, like I said, I'm going to be showing you guys stuff I would use above around like 50 to 55, probably more around 55 and up. But this bait right here is pretty interesting. I don't see much talk about it. It's a little prop bait. I like to use prop baits, but this is not an ordinary type prop bait. It's more like a crawler. That's how it's mainly supposed to be like used. It's not where you just do the rip or like a kind of like a twitch pause type of thing. You're not doing that with this bait. You could if you wanted to, but that's not what it was designed for. Like I said, this is called the Amakatsu Dead Screw. Let me take these damn hook covers off. So it has a sick paint scheme. It's got the baby bass paint scheme, and as you can see, it has a lip on it. And so this bait's supposed to be retrieved on a steady retrieve. And then also at the bottom, it's, if you was to look at it from underneath, it's got that fin you see on the side there. It also has two purposes. It's also to keep the bait from over rolling, since it has that lip on it, and then also those blades are pretty massive. They're also two different size blades, props. But like I said, the that fin right here uh, that you see, it's to keep the bait from over rolling when it starts to it kind of has this shimmy in the water as you're straight retrieving it. And then, like I said, and then also it's supposed to create a silhouette sort of deal so that when the fish are looking from underneath, it kind of looks like a little minnow. And so, like I said, this bait will come in kind of, and these props are massive. It's got the quad props, so it's really loud. And then it's also wiggling like that. But what also makes the bait pretty unique from other prop baits that you really see on the market is damn power almost damn went out. And is that the blades, you'll have most prop baits where you have that regular prop where it's drilled with a regular obsolete drill bit and it's centered out like a circle. With these, their hole that's actually on the blade itself is not a circle, it's a square, and it creates this metal clinging sound, sort of like a blade hitting. But I'll show you the noise right here. and they both make that noise. So, and they don't have any rattle inside the bait. The bait's completely silent. If I hold the blades and stuff, it's just got like weights inside, but there's no actual rattle itself inside. But those blades are making this chopping noise, and it's like, and that's actually just the noise of that metal hitting each other. But then it also has that water splashing everywhere, and this thing splashes water up like a foot. It's nuts. The water will just jet up, and like I said, you just straight retrieve this, and it's sort of like a buzz bait. Honestly, that's how you would kind of like work in the same way. It's pretty much a buzz bait, and also I noticed when you I put the 2 split rings on the back, because when it came stock, it only had one, which really was weird because that hook was pretty damn close to those blades. And I didn't like that. And then I was also thinking, since it has quad blades on it, that it might affect that hookup. So when I put that, you know, double split ring, really, if you just grab it, even like no matter what, it's like it's gonna still get you no matter what, like somewhere. So it's pretty interesting, but it's a pretty unique bait, and definitely not something you see probably a lot of people throwing at all. So definitely going to use more of it this year, because last year I really didn't use much of it. And what else was another weird bait that I had? Oh, there's another one that I wanted to show before I got into like other stuff that I really liked. And this was another one that this is actually like sort of like the original Hellraiser. Hold on. What up, Carol? And let me see if I miss anybody else. No. What is it? That is the Amakatsu Dead Screw, Adam. It says it on the top. It's pretty, it's got some teeth mark on the back. It's kind of hard to see right where that chip is at. But it's a pretty sick bait, and it's pretty wide profile too, pencil wise. And it casts really well. And so like getting back to this other bait here, that's all right, Carol. But like I was saying, oh, that's what up, Malone. Learn that I was actually looking on their stuff the other day. They had a few baits I was thinking about getting, because they're not bad, especially for the Norman baits. You know, you can get them pretty cheap. And so, like I was saying, this bait right here is actually like sort of like the original Hellraiser, really, in the way that it kind of has the same action. This is a Jackal bait, and this is the Jackal Riser, but this is the 009 version. The 007 kind of pops out the wood a little bit more. This one doesn't do that. This one will kind of stay in the back on top of the water, really. You can go fast with it, which is kind of cool, but you wouldn't expect how much noise the bait makes for being technically a silent bait. You know, it has a little bit of this thing, but that's just the weight kind of in there. It doesn't really have any rattles in it, but it makes a crap ton of noise on the bait, and it has this side to side action to it, like a minnow scurrying on top of the water. I'll show you a swim video in a second. And it's pretty sick. I just haven't had the most success on it personally. I think it's just because it's very loud, and you would, like I said, you wouldn't expect it to be that loud for a silent bait, and that's what I had thought. But it makes a lot of commotion on the water. 1 second. But I definitely think it could work for like schooling fish, things like that, river fishing near smallies. And here we go. All right, so because it was taking a second. I don't know why it took forever. Hold on. Damn it. Screw it. Alright, so I got the video right here. This is the 009. Let me get it, refresh it, not move. It's gonna freeze up, I knew it. Let me lower the pixels. Oh yeah, that's way too high. Holy hell. 4K. Yeah. Let me rewind that because it was in 4K. I don't even know how the hell they had that high. So it's a pretty sweet bait. Like I said, you can go pretty quick with it. They do have a saltwater version, I think, too. I just got this thing stuck. Let me get a better video. Here we go. And it also has that open mouth, sort of like the Pop Max does, or it has that open mouth that catches there. See how it kind of rocks back and forth? And it does sink. It doesn't float, just so you know that neither. So if you want to pause and let it sink, you can, and then it would just work its way back up like a chatterbait in a way, back to the surface. So it's got that cupped mouth, and then the water jets out the gills. And then so it has the solid weight. There's no actual BBs in the body. And that's exactly what you're getting there. And it seems like, honestly, the faster you retrieve it, the better. Trying to get it to see that it's pretty much coming in just like that. And then kind of just coming in. So it's a pretty sick bait. So you got that one there. What up, Travis? I'm not sure if they did discontinue the 007. I've seen people use them pretty recently. I know Bass Fishing HQ made a video on it pretty recently. I think they're just always sold out on like tackle warehouse and stuff, but I swear I've seen them get restocked. But I bought that bait a long time ago. Let's see what else. I'm trying to figure out anybody else said anything. I'm trying to read people's comments. Alright, so you're talking about with the Riser. The hookup's pretty fine. It's pretty small bait. Not really big at all. And if you wanted, you could just probably put a double split ring just like I did on that other one, honestly. But like I said, I personally haven't had as much luck on it. It looks like it would be a good bait, but I just don't have that much luck. This is actually another one I don't have as much luck on, but it seems like a pretty decent bait. And this is the OSP die buzzing. It's got that circuit board lip. It's a little weight bait. It's pretty loud. But if you go kind of slow, it does have kind of a good rattle to it. It's not too loud. So, but I've heard a lot of people like these. I just haven't personally had good luck with them. Nah, I never used those. But I've always wanted one. They definitely seem like they glide better than the DRT baits. Nah, you didn't have to do that. It is a crazy bait though. Oh, nice. Hey, I'd be happy to get my reel back too. I gotta service my reels myself. What up, Jeremy? And so yeah, then actually this right here is actually one I actually have good luck on. Those were a couple that I really don't have good luck on. The rest, I think, yeah, the rest I'm pretty good with. So this one here is actually an old bait, and it's something that I still use today, really, and including also other jerk baits themselves. But this is an older. I'm not sure if it's like like an OG, or is it just like a like a not too old one. But this is the Rapala Minnow, and these right here are pretty damn good. Hold on, still. And this is an older one here. The bill says Ireland on the bill, but I'm not completely sure on that. But like I said, these right here are great. I just like up the hooks on them really, and pretty much use them like just like any other really topwater type jerkbait. Just retrieve them straight, kind of give like rips. You can kind of do like a sweeping motion as well, and then pause. And like there's other jerk baits I have too that I'm going to be using as well that are topwater wise. I have some Sheen jerk bait that I did get to use, but I did not have enough time. Really, it was like in the fall time that I got it, so I didn't get to use it as much. But this is like pretty much a JDM version. This is the Nisheen 115 Erie topwater jerkbait, but it's obviously a lot bigger than that Rapala minnow. And but this bait here has a really heavy float to it, and it definitely has a really exaggerated roll to it. And you can burn this bait really well, and it will go a little bit subsurface. It doesn't have, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's completely silent, and so you're gonna have no rattles, just like the balsa wood. So you still have that good for pressured water, and they have some pretty good paint schemes too. And you get that 3 hooks, which is pretty good, which I do like. Yeah, I'll be talking about the buzz jet in a second. John, I thought there was a Topwater version of the Beano already. I thought you could make it into the Topwater version by just taking off the weight. Unless they're just making, like, you mean like a strictly Topwater one. But so that one is that. And then since you guys did bring up the buzz jet, I have these here. And I do like the buzz jet a little bit, but I don't have as much luck on it as much as I would like. So I did do a little bit changed on this one. I did a little modification. I took the prop off the back, and so the prop is completely gone on that one. And then you have that prop on this one, and the actual prop on these, they're off centered. The drill on the prop itself is like off centered on the actual prop. So as it's spinning, it causes the blade to rock back and forth, and you'll kind of see it if I it will start like, see, it causes the blade to rock back and forth since it's off center, like it's kind of like drilled on one side, closer to one side on the blade itself. So it's pretty interesting on that. But like I said, they're pretty good, and the sound is not bad. If you're going nice and slow, which I think is the best way to use them, really is just going super slow. And but if you go slow, they're not bad. And this is the smaller version. I got the bigger one behind me. The Magnum one is the one I see a lot of the Japanese guys using the most. But that one's a little harder to get. That one's mainly for depth members. You have to get the depth member to get them, or get them from Japan. But this is the larger version. And I didn't cut the prop of that one. But same concept. And you can actually see the offset in the prop where it's drilled. Look at it if it focuses. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Come on. There we go. So right here, see how on the prop right there, it's not centered. See? It's like almost on like the top half of the blade. So, and that's how they all are on the buzz jet. They're not all centered out like other spy baits are, or prop baits. Yeah, there's a Magnum one. There's one bigger than this one here. And it's like 2 ounces, I think, or close to it. You can get them from Japan. I think like Ichiban has them. The KK Japan, I think, as well. But yeah, those are pretty good. I know a good amount of people that have good success with them. And should I? Since I did talk about Topwater, the buzz bait sort of deal with the prop baits, I'm going to show 2 buzz baits that I really mainly use myself. There is one though I do use that's kind of weird, and it doesn't have too much life in it, but this one here is a good little buzz bait right here. This little guy. This is the Ima little voice, and it's a kind of a finesse buzz bait, but it's got a pretty nice wire to it. It's pretty stiff and stout. It's not really doesn't really bend that easy for a finesse type of buzz bait. It does also have that copper or brass type clacker on it. So even for a tiny buzzbait, still got a pretty good sound to it. And so it's not bad. And then it also has a cupped little head on it on the bottom. There's like a cupped head. Yeah. So on the bottom, there's like this cupped head right there. And that kind of keeps that bait up on top of the water, kind of making it rise to the surface a little bit easier. So it's pretty nice. And you can also add trailer if you want. I mostly like my buzz baits with skirts specifically to be without a trailer, but when I like this Cavitron I'm about to show you doesn't have a skirt, I like to put a trailer on it. So this is the Cavitron. This is pretty damn old, and it's like on its last bit, but I got that little dot that doesn't come with that, but I put that there. And then it's got a pretty nice sound to it, and it's got that little bit of drill holes in the blades, so you'll get definitely some bubble trail from that. And it's a nice, definitely one of the few buzz baits that has, gave me a lot of success with, actually. I like that red hook is damn near all scraped up, and it's like showing through and stuff, but it's not bad for being as old as it is. And so that one, and then this is a weird one. I still actually, I've got back. This is actually an old bait. I had this when I was young, when I was like in high school. It's still around, and this is one of the few baits that I didn't get freaking stolen. But it is like the old. I don't think they make this one anymore. But it's the Booyah long arm buzz bait. It's like the really long ones. They do make a version of it, but I don't think they make this specific one with the head like that. And then it comes with the frog hook. So it doesn't use like a regular standard buzzbait hook. And that blade, I have it too. It's tuned as well to where it will hit the wire once it starts going. So it's a pretty good sound. Hold on, let me get it. Damn thing is spinning the opposite direction. So it's pretty good. But I like that head on it, really, because it's got that old school type of look to it with the eyes, which I like. Yeah, I think it's a red Gamakatsu hook, jig hook. But that Cavitron's from like 12 years ago. Same with this damn thing. But it's a pretty cool buzz bait, and it grabs a lot of water with that. It's a pretty big blade, but it has like an aggressive angle to these edges, so it definitely like plops really nice. So that's for the buzz baits. What else did I add? Before I get into the bigger baits, I want to stay on. So this is like a little topwater walking bag that I have. It's like pretty much like a topwater baits, but mainly it's all like my walking baits. And then also I had this little guy right here, which is a pretty good box. I like it a lot. It's a little duo box and allows you to put like your pretty much baits in there. But it's pretty sick. It's actually like a jerkbait type box, but you can also use it for other smaller baits. It's good for also like finesse type baits or cranks. But yeah, these Mega Bass little bags, man, they're really good. they're like not even expensive either, like $2-3. And they hold a lot of baits, and they're pretty damn durable. And the connection point up here, man, is strong as hell for being just like a Ziploc type thing deal. Like it doesn't open up at all. It keeps the bait pretty waterproof. And so let me get one bait out of here that I really like to use when that water is kind of cooler. So this guy right here, the OSP bent minnow, man, this bait right here gets bit. And this guy right here, and this is the abalone one, but like I said, I have another one as well. And this bait right here is a really good jerk. It's like almost like a jerk bait, but it's also like a topwater, because you can kind of get this down like maybe like 2 feet. Is pretty nuts if you're working a little bit quicker. And what up, Jermaine? And if you work it a little bit quicker, it will go down. And this is pretty much how it actually comes in, just like that. So it's pretty much coming in like this. And you can straight retrieve this bait as well, and it'll just kind of crank like that. And it'll come up to the top. But this is a floating bait, slow floating. So it will go down, and then it'll just slowly rise. And which I really like that. But like I said, the only thing I do wish I wish it did have 3 hooks, because it did seem like it was allowing fish to come off for some reason. And or I might need to go and yeah, it might be these hooks. And because they do come with like a nickel type hook. It's like weird. Or a tin type hook. But it's got that. And I wish these weights, they would have covered them when they have the clear colors. It makes no sense. And but like I said, that abalone color, man, it has a really good color to it when that sun's out. And I have another one here, and this another color. It's like a Wagasaki color, I think. So, and I'm telling you, man, this thing gets chewed up in the rivers. And like I said, you can work it quickly and it'll go down a bit, and then you just let it slow float. But when those fish are schooling, this bait is really good, and it just gets bit. And it is kind of expensive, but as long as you're not fishing near like snaggy stuff, this definitely is a good bait. I would not use it near like wood or anything like that. You will snag it. I've snagged a couple. What up, Frank? What up, Greg? Or Hook Life? What else? Yeah, nah, it's not gimmicky. Trust me. It walks like probably better than some walking baits. But it's just like a jerk bait, just kind of walk back and forth. And it looks like a dying minnow, really. That's what it is. And like I said, they get bit. And you'll have that slow floating action, which is kind of cool, where it'll kind of go down. Like I said, you can kind of get it down, and then it'll just float up. And it kind of has like this shimmying action as it floats up, so you'll get that floating like dead minnow going to the surface. And if you got like minnows or a lot of small forage in your area that the bass are eating at that time, you're chasing, that probably is not like, that's probably like the best bait you can use. Besides, there's another bait I'll show, and this other old bait that I'm gonna bring back out this year, because I used to smack them on this bait. And this one here is actually another bait that I was able to still have that I didn't get stolen, but you could tell by the damn hook. And this is the Rapala Subwalk, and you can even tell by that sure set hook. And that they were good. You just only were supposed to use them for that back hook, but still sharp as hell. And but like I said, this bait right here, man, it was actually more designed towards the saltwater crew, and this bait here sinks, but it's a walking bait, and you can just walk this pretty much as like a walk the dog type of bait. But when you pause it, it would start sinking down, and then you could honestly work it subsurface if you wanted to, and that's another good thing. So it ends up becoming sort of like a stick bait underwater, and sort of like I said, like saltwater style, like the orca. Where the hell is it? What the hell is orca? I had my damn Shimano bait somewhere around here. I know it is. I can't see it. Do it. Damn. I don't know what the hell happened to the orca bait I had. Hiding right underneath the damn. This guy right here. It's pretty much like this. So this is pretty much like a stick bait, and or like the Orapoi sort of has like the same thing, the Mega Bass sort of deal, where it's just like a rip bait, and it will just kind of go under the surface, and it'll just kind of go back and forth. You can use this for freshwater if you want it. That's why I kind of had these freshwater style hooks on it, but it had massive hooks on it before, and really it's meant for saltwater. You can tell with the damn hardware on it, it's like massive. So, but that's a pretty sick bait, and that's definitely meant for like rough water. So you can use that damn thing like 5 feet swells, and nice. Yeah, the sewage is a good one, man. In the wake position, it's pretty nice. It got bit. I got bit in the wake mode. In the wake mode, actually, it doesn't just go like on top of the surface. You can go down about like a foot or so, and which I like that. And especially if you weight it down a little bit, I put like I think I put 1.2 grams of weight on it just to get it a little bit slower a rise. And then I would like to know, especially if you get yours, to let me know if yours has like 3 positions on it, because mine for some reason it has 3 when it's only supposed to be 2. And I was wondering if mine just had like a defect or something. But it's definitely a good bait though. I've been using it recently. I haven't got no bites on it, but I thought maybe if I did get one, I wouldn't lose it like I was on that damn flap slap. I ended up losing that damn flap slap though. Oh, you're talking about that stutter step? That damn thing is, yeah. It's kind of like the same sort of concept, but that one has that tail on it, so it's a little bit different. But it is sort of the same concept with the bent body. And I think there was also another company that did that. Yeah, it has little fins on the edge. What the hell just happened? My Wi-Fi keeps kind of going in and out. I'm not sure why. So Adam might have been right that it was Well, it might have been my end. Come on. So that's what you gotta do. So right there, yeah, little fins right there. So, and it has a nice sound, man, which I like. I really like that. Of course, now I'm not gonna focus. And so the other bait that I like to use too, when that water's still kind of cool, are these little mega bass walking baits. But these are the mega bass, mega dog. Is it the mega dog? Yeah, the mega dog Kauai, the sinker. Yeah. I was like, I forgot the damn beginning name. But these little guys right here, man, are amazing, man. For a small little walking bait, these are probably the best walking bait in my opinion that you can get. I have a bunch of them. Limited colors, a couple of them. And I have another one somewhere else. And let me see. Oh, right here. And like I said, they are really good, man. They're good for rivers. Smallies, man, I know they would get chewed up from the smallies. It'd be go time. And then this guy is another limited color. Mothra. I don't want to work. So that's that Mothra color. It's got like a golden, light golden body on it with that orange belly. So like I said, these here are silent. They don't make any noise, but they weigh a good amount for their size, and so they cast very well. You can use these on a cranking rod, really, and no problem. And pretty much, like I said, they cast out really well. They walk extremely well for their size. Like you would think this bait would probably not walk as good as, because there's a few other smaller walking baits that I've used, and they're not as good as this thing. And like the Zara puppy, I've used that, and that it's all right. But this here walks extremely, like really nice. It's like almost like a normal size walking bait, but it just tiny. And then, like I said, the good thing about this bait is that reason why I like using it in kind of like colder water is because the bait sinks just like that subwalk. So you kind of can get lower in the water column, and when you pause that bait, and it's will sink real slowly. And so if you have any sort of commotion that you're seeing on top of the water and you throw this by, you can kind of just walk it by and then pause it, and it will just sink. And then as you work that bait back, it will kind of like pop out the surface, and then you just start walking it again. But it literally looks like a little minnow fleeing away, and I'm telling you, it works very well. Especially you got a lot of like flathead mud minnows, little tiny shiners and stuff like that. They're very good. Maybe even gobies too. The dog axe. That's it. I knew it wasn't the mega dog because it didn't sound right. Yeah, the soup spook. Yeah, this regular spook. I like that. I have no problem. I have the saltwater one, and I have also the smaller one. This one here is the one I do like. If the junior. This guy here is the one I prefer to use if I'm using a smaller size. And this one here, man, it definitely works. I like that 2 hooks. I don't like too many hooks sometimes on like the smaller ones, but it definitely is a good bait. Another good kind of like older bait too is this Rebel popper. But it's the Rebel saltwater popper, the super popper. And it's a little bit smaller bait, and it's actually the hooks they're kind of like shitty, but at the same time they're not bad because they're like the Excalibur hooks. So they got those rotating hooks, and they're sharp as shit. I sharpen them all, and they're sticky sharp. So they're gonna bend definitely, but I was like, you know what, might as well just try to keep them on, and I just sharpen them as good as I can, and they're definitely sticky sharp. And then but that sound is really what I like about this one. It's very nice. It's not too loud, and it's definitely got that slender profile to it, which I like. I know a lot of people talk about these, so I just probably glaze over it. But these are those yellow not yellow magic, the Ricos. But what I did was with one of them, because I did do like a little bit of research on the Ricos themselves, and I was noticing that on like the older models. Hold on 1 second, let me yeah, the Yo-Zuri jerkbaits though, those are extremely popular and like surf fishermen. That's like all like striper guys use. I have like a shit ton of them. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, they're good. And especially for like the rivers and stuff, they'll get bit. And especially if you go for like smallies too, they'll work really well for that. Yeah, that's the name. And let me make sure just I'll search up. Because on the baits, it's saying Kawaii slide sinker, but I swear it said Dog X. Yeah, it's the Dog X Junior Kawaii. So I always get all the Mega Dog damn names confused. Yeah, it is good current because it's got a little bit more of that weight to it. So as it's like sinking, you can walk in like pretty fast current. I actually probably will make like a video if I get on like a bite like that, and if I can capture it, try to record it, me using it, and it definitely works. But like I was saying, this Rico, the one thing I noticed was when I was doing the research on them was that the older models, some of the like original ones, that the lip on them were completely different. Like this cupping was different, and they were had more like they came to like a point on the top, and there also was like it was less of a lip. So like overall, if you look at like from the side profile, this like lip right here wasn't so pronounced. It kind of didn't stick up as much, so it'd be like almost like he was like have like less of that lip. And the reason was that that kind of like helped the the way that the Rick Clun would use these, the Rio Ricos, which is where he would kind of just straight retrieve them or burn them very quickly, and it would just skim right over the water. And that's how he was able to do that without getting the bait to like cavitate as much. And that was the pretty much purpose behind that, and it would just skim over the top. And so that's kind of like what I kind of replicate with this older one. If you can kind of see how it kind of has like that point to it, comes like to a point, and then it's not as, like, if you look at it from the side, it's not as pronounced. Like it doesn't have that as, come on, focus. It wants to do it, but it, come on, man. Jesus. So you see on that right there how it kind of comes in, and then it ends up kind of having like that flat outer edge, so the water's not grabbing on the corners of the lip. So whereas where you have like that whole sort of edge on the top, so it kind of like hangs over like a cliff. So you don't have that as much, so that water just kind of like passes right past it, and it's a lot easier to do that sort of like speed cranking thing with the popper. So that was the only thing I'll say about that one. Interesting. I never really, I actually, that's weird because I've used them like a popper. Both of them. Are you talking about the, that's a 7.5 behind me. Oh my God, my damn stomach. And, like I said, the next one, walking bait that I really like, on the, kind of like Rio Rico Yellow Magic sort of deal, is that, Yellow Magic Havana. This one right here, man, is probably one of my favorite walking baits overall. It's like bigger size wise. Like if you're just gonna get to like regular spook size, this color gets demolished too. And this bait like walks like effortlessly, and really takes no effort to walk them. And you can get that fast walk with them, no problem, and it'll just walk perfectly. And it's a really good bait. Casts really well. Not like crazy expensive. The sound is not too bad. So, but it's definitely nice. And they just work, man. And the paint jobs are sick. So it's pretty sick. And it's the Yellow Magic Havana. magic event. And like I said, they're really good baits too. They withstand a pretty good amount. Like that's a pretty good amount of use on that bait before the paint got like that. And it's got like a foil paint job on it. So I got these Marty Burns walkers, but I haven't really used those a lot yet to really see how good I've done on those. These are those Berkeley Frenzy walkers I was talking about. This is a saltwater version. This is like the bone version. Really not much noise at all. But you can see it kind of has that like wider, like torpedo sort of deal. But then it's like flat if you look at it. Like it's kind of like smushed. And it's definitely pretty nice. But they walk really nice. I got that one in a bullfrog color. Old school bullfrog. This guy. Got that sick old bullfrog color. And like I said, they're pretty sick baits. And you can get them cheap too on eBay. I got these for like I think it was like $8, $10 I think it was, something like that. It wasn't much. Nah, I have not thrown that out. I've heard that one, but I've not thrown it. It's great for walking bait for common water. Interesting. I have to check that out again because I think I've seen that before, and I think it's just like a more finesse version of the Havana. And I think I was gonna buy it one time, and I just didn't. But most of the Yellow Magic stuff, their baits are really good. They're just as good as the Rio Ricos, in my opinion. They're pretty much like the same sort of like blank, but there is some differences. This bait is pretty unique too, topwater wise. This one here I'd probably use more when I do see more minnows around. Kind of like the same sort of deal with the Dog X Kwayu. This little guy right here is the Depths Wagasaki bait. I do definitely use this more on my spinning stuff. I gotta get a damn spinning rod again because I broke mine, but this was one bait I did use on my spinning setup, and this is the Wagasaki bait right here, and it's a tiny eye bait sort of deal. Get that focus. Come on, focus. Come on, man. It just did it for a second and then went away. Waste so much time doing that. So like I said, and then also what I do is add a little bit of weight on here. It comes with a little small hook here, but the hook is pretty strong. It has that swiveling hook hanger. You also get that mylar tail, and when it gets wet, it kind of like fans out and like thins out. You can kind of see how thin it is. It's not like your regular type of mylar. So it does thin out. And I do have the little snap on there. I take that off, but I've had it on there. And but I do use it with that snap. But you pretty much just retrieve this and it comes in straight like a dart, and then you can kind of like do rod twitches and it'll kind of quiver. But it's a pretty stealthy approach, definitely for like clear water, a little bit probably pressured fisheries, but definitely you're gonna need clear water for that. But it's definitely a good bait, and or just in general, if the fish are probably hitting on top on like you see small stuff, this is a good one to use. There's a few other ones that are pretty good too. OSP makes a good amount of them, good ones that are similar to that. All right. All right, so now let's get into the bigger baits. That's pretty much what I'll finish off with. All right, so what I do like to use in the beginning really mainly is rats, specifically. My main like 3 that I like to use the most are these 3 here. I'm gonna use a couple others though this year more because I don't know why I didn't last year. But these here, the rats themselves, I like to use the 2-piece usually in the beginning when it's a little bit colder, and then the 3-piece when it gets a little warmer. I like to use them mainly near like cover of wood. Sometimes also like off the edge of like banks if I can do that, like where there may be like a spot where I'm like sort of like in a diagonal like angle sort of, and I can see like another bank edge. I'll cast as close as I can towards that bank as long as there's no like brush or anything or like trees or stuff like that in the water that I'll probably get snagged on, and I'll try to cast as close as there and then just kind of work it in that angle back, like as if a sort of like a rat or something got in the water, and it's just trying to get as close as possible back to land. And then also working them along the bank as well is a really good option as well when you're using rat baits in the beginning of the season. You can kind of get into that where you're just working along the bank, pretty much diagonal from you or horizontal, whatever it is, and pretty much just cast and then bring it back to you that way. And you're pretty much just targeting those fish that kind of like moved up and are just ambushing maybe schools of fish or whatever it is that just kind of comes towards the edge of the bank. And they work pretty well there. You can use them as well. Like if honestly, you can use these probably like right now, like on the edge, like I've always say, like at the edge of lily pads, seems to do pretty good for me. On the edges of like grass, very thick grass, that you have like a kind of like a grass line, and then you just get that, or big flats. Big flats seem to do pretty well with rat baits or wake baits in general. You can do pretty well on them. Let me see. Yeah, it's pretty much in the same kind of like ballpark. Really, it is like a spy bait just without blades in a way. So it's just going to be more finesse or less loud sort of thing. So it's mainly just off like sight. You're not really making much commotion. You're not making a big presence, you know. So you're really dependent on all the sight. So that's why I really say you should probably have more clear water when you're using them. Or really, they're really good for like summertime, honestly, when the water is probably the cleanest. And yeah, Jeremy, you're all right about that. It does work. Fan casting flats with rats or just wake baits. That's what I like to do, really mainly. And but like I said, they also work in plenty of other places that you can kind of like get to really without snagging. There's also good baits out there that just don't snag as well. Like this bait here, you would have to bring it through some nasty stuff to snag because of that lip. That's the good thing about the lip on this bait. Kind of like if I bring it in like that, you know, I'll put like create like a steep angle, and you're not, and that's coming in straight. Really, most of the time it's coming in like that, so you're not even. There's no damn way you're let me move that. There's really no way that that damn thing's gonna get hooked on there. And so like I said, you can bring this stuff to pretty nasty stuff. That has the swiveling hook hangers, which is a good thing. So if you do get them, I remember I got one fish off the bat, just the back hook alone, and it didn't come off, which it was pretty surprising. But with that, I think those rotating hook hangers definitely made a difference. And I do like that elude. He has these triple rings, split rings, man. Those damn things are so strong. The triple rings, and they're mainly meant for swiveling hook hangers. But they're so damn strong for their size. Like that's like the same size as probably like a 60-pound swivel, but it definitely is probably way stronger than that. But and another thing kind of too, I also noticed about eludes baits that I actually kind of get off like a side note, that I noticed a lot of his baits when I was looking at the eyelets, they're not really tuned. Like they're all straight as like an arrow. And I was looking at all of his baits that I got, and I have a pretty good amount. And I looked at almost all of them. They're all straight. Not one is bent. But then I have a few other rats, and they're bent. Like this Lit Lures rat is bent a little bit to the side. You know, you kind of see that. It's kind of like in a kind of tilted to the left. And then, but these are all spot on. Like, it's too bright. So spot on. And he does use like a different type of eyelet though. He's using like a twist, a haywire twist type eyelet. It's weird. I forget what that is, but I think it's because he's making his own eyelets. But the like I said, all his baits are like that, and I've noticed that it's kind of interesting. And but I have noticed where like some of his baits, where mainly the rats run pretty well, but like some of his, what up Tyler? Some of his like fish type baits, they kind of have like a what's it called? They kind of have like, they'll, if you go too quickly, they'll kind of like roll on their side, and I was like, why are they doing that? And it just seemed like I was like looking at the island, and it seems like there's no tune at all on the baits. So I'm gonna try and see if I can mess with the tune on those, like these here. Like this is what I was talking about specifically. This bait does that, and it's a big bait, and it has probably a lot of flotation. It's the Elude Grenade Gill. It's like a 6.5 ounce bait. It's very chunky, but like I said, see, like really chunky. But if you go past like a certain amount of speed, the bait just wants to like start rolling like this on its side, and probably some more weight could definitely probably fix that. But I think also just the eyelet itself being tuned just slightly could help kind of keep that from happening when you go on a faster retrieve. So I just got to see. But I definitely think weight could probably help that. Just get some grenade weights or, but yeah. And so like I said, but this is also another rat too that I really like, that is from Elude, is the 3-piece zombie. This one is the older model. The new ones he has a rotating hook hangers, so that's why I have like the double split rings on this one. But this is a pretty big bait. It's like 12 inches or 13 in length, so it's not small, definitely, but it's not as heavy as you would think. It actually weighs about the same amount as the zombie. It's just that like the tail section of the bait is like cut. So like the front half is a little longer, so it is almost like a little longer than this, and then it just, this tail section of the bait is just cut and then jointed. So, but the 3-piece is definitely more stable. You can crank down this one, which it cranks down like almost like 2 feet or 1.5 feet, but it has a real steady natural swim. It's not rolling like super aggressive. It literally looks like what's that not nutria, muskrat. It's like a muskrat swimming underwater. If you ever seen them, I think that's honestly the best way to look. If you to get the best rat action, I swear, is look at how muskrats swim in the water and just study how they swim. And I'm telling you, that's like the perfect action of a rat. And let's see if anyone else. Yeah, that bait is thick. When it freaking hits the water, it sounds like a grenade. And I'm wondering that's why he named it that, because that damn thing, it's heavy. It casts like a damn bomb, but it's just when it hits the water, it splashes like crazy and makes the loud. It sounds like a brick hitting the water. I got this one. This bait here, I caught a fish on the first cast that I used it. So that's why I kind of like, I probably will always use his baits probably, because I just was like, it was like, I guess like some sort of, I don't know, it was like meant to be sort of thing. But I've caught a few fish on this one here, but it's not a bait that you're definitely going to catch, a lot of fish. But you're definitely, if you're in a good high percentage zone and you've definitely seen a lot of fish striking top water, these baits here can catch 3-pounders, two high 2-pounders, 4-pounders, no problem. And especially if you're using other smaller rat baits that aren't as big as this, but like something like this, probably you would probably be better off with something like that. This little guy here definitely would get demolished overall because it's a good bite size. So you're not gonna like the Spro rat sort of deal. The 50 probably would be a good size. I don't like the rattling in the Spro rat. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I don't like my rats to rattle. So that's just something I personally don't like. But I know people that do have like rattling tails and stuff like that on their bait. So I'm sure it works. Yeah. Take it easy, Malone. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, JP, yeah. And I was at like a high 3, and it was like going into like the fall time too. So that's what happened with sort of like the raid crawler too. I had like caught a fish on like the 3rd cast. Take it easy, Travis. Or is it Carol that says she's leaving? Or is it Malone Travis? I'm not sure. Because I don't see Travis. But like I said, now I lost my damn thought. Oh, that yeah, and with the raid, I had caught like on the 3rd cast, and it was pretty crazy. I was like, damn, I was not expecting that. But like I said, these and then this is another one going. This is the wood 3-piece rat. This one I have not used as much. The action is pretty good. I definitely had to tune it myself. It came not tuned at all, and I had to bend that eyelet out. Because it was like moving to the like left like 3 feet by the time like on the cat, as soon as I like on the full cast and bring it back in, the bait goes like 3 feet to the left. It was nuts. And I was like, what the hell's happening? When I told him about it, he's like, oh, send me the bait and I'll read. I'm like, dude, I'm not waiting 2 more months for you to just turn the eyelet on my damn bait. Like, so I just did it myself, and it was pretty easy to do. And literally, I tuned it up, and it comes in like straight as an arrow now. So I'm definitely going to use this spring, but it's a black one, and I put the eyes on the bottom, so it'll kind of give that like a dead fish sort of look if it was floating on the side. So that should definitely work pretty well. I've been keeping this in my bag. That's why you kind of had the double things on it. It's been in my bag. I'm keeping it all the time just in case if I really want to throw it. So, yeah, and so like that's like the rats is one thing I would like to throw. Fish type, or actually, I'll start off with this multi-jointed one because this one is actually a floater. This guy right here is that Yuma S-Quad, and this is the plastic version. There's a wood version as well out now, but this is the floating model, and I actually have a bunch of weight on it. On the top, I have the golf tape on top to match the paint jobs, because you can barely tell it's there. And then I just put the floating board on the bottom, but and then some heavier tin hooks to weight it down, and so now it sinks like really slow. But this is a nice little bait. If you can find them like on eBay, they're definitely a good bait to get. It's made out of a really durable plastic. It's not made out of like ABS. It's actually made out of like, I think it's like TPU or TPH or something like that, or TPE. And it's a little bit more of a harder plastic, a little bit more durable. So it will last a little while. It also has a little bit of this, you can kind of see on the body. It's got like this arrow sort of deal where it cuts through the water pretty well. And this bait doesn't have like a very tight action that most like small jointed baits do, like sort of like the Buka does, where it's kind of coming in real tight. This kind of has like a wider S swim to it, so it's going to have like a wider, like you can kind of see the joint play on it, like it's not as floppy like actually, this probably won't be a good demonstration because I've messed with this, but yeah, it's not going to be a good demonstration because I modified this one. I turned it into like a glide bait. I don't even think I probably should show that, but I turned this thing into like a glide bait. Just the middle joint moves. But and then it just kind of has like a two-piece action to it. But like I was saying, the joint has, like, if I had that actually all the way where it was fully like moving, it would actually be like all the way over. This is not as bad. So it definitely has like a lot more of like a S sort of swim to it, and when you're moving it quick, even and then it does not like tighten up. It like kind of goes like wider. So I like that about it. Let me read the comment. Yeah, I think Sakpit is the one guy that does sell them, but I'm not sure if he makes them himself. So maybe there is a place you can probably find them somewhere else, but I'm sure you can just get them from him, and it's probably just easier that way. And yeah, Jeremy, the knock, like I said, sometimes that is good. Like I like my rats to like have a knock, but I like that sort of like natural knock that it gets, and if that enough in the water swishing noise, because you'll get like this noise, especially with the three pieces, that will make like this bloop bloop sort of noise. It's very interesting actually. The three pieces kind of make like this really nice noise that I also think makes kind of like a difference. And then you have your wood ones, which like this one, this is like, I really don't like using it, but I do want to catch a fish on it. This one specifically some more. And this is that sneaky rat, but you have like, let me take the damn hook hanger on it. And it'd be, and so that you get like that a loud quacking noise. And then this rat here is really good at walking, like it's very good. So you'll get and it'll literally walk on itself like that. So like a 180 pretty much it does on itself. But and a lot of guys, that's how most guys like to use rats. They're 2-piece rats. They just walk them like near cover, and the rat just literally walks in place. It makes a ton of commotion. It looks like the rat is like drowning or dying, or like it got attacked or something, some weird stuff. So yeah, the 40 size definitely is like a pretty popular size. Seems like a lot of guys like that. Which one, Tim? The light gray one or this one? This 3-piece one, or that small little tiny rat one? This guy, the little gray rat. Take it easy, Michael. The black 3-piece. Oh, the black one. This is a Woodrow rats. And this is like I said, this one is wood as well. It's a little bit lighter of a wood. It's not as dense, so it's not going to have as loud of a clack. But and then if you just hold it upside down, it's really kind of hard without actually putting like holding the tail. There you go. So it's definitely a nice, and this one walks pretty well too. The 3 pieces do walk nice, but the 2 pieces seem to do better because they kind of like walk on themselves. The 3 pieces kind of go like this. But it's not a bad sound, you know. You'll get that. But you kind of see how you have that more higher pitched noise. It's not as deep thud like the that other one, because that one's maple. This one I think is like a like some sort of pine or cedar, something like that. It's very light. You can definitely tell. It's like a white wood. Yeah, trap baits. He makes some pretty nice stuff. The trap gill's nice. I've never tried. I think actually I know the trap bass, the rat. I'm not picturing it right now in my head. Let me see. Yeah, I know you're talking about from MGC. Those are pretty good. Those are good starter rats, and they're pretty budget friendly. Not budget friendly, but they're not the most expensive resin made or custom rat you can buy. They're definitely a good price range. But this guy right here is got, like I said, this is one of those elude baits that I was kind of like talking about. That is like you got that three jointed body, but it's in a sort of like shad, I guess, gill sort of profile, crappie profile, and this here, like I said, this was one of the few baits that like elude has, where it's straight as an arrow, the eyelet, it's not bent, and like I said, it runs up to a certain speed, but once you get to a certain speed, it wants to start tilting on itself, and so I'd add weight on it, and it seemed like that kind of helped a little bit, but it definitely seems like they're more like a specific speed range where they work better. I wish it definitely had a little bit more wider range, but the paint jobs are insane. But the and this specific paint job he did is not really that, like, there's not that many out there. And like I said, it's a pretty nice bait overall. The tail kicks really nice. The body doesn't really have much movement, as you can see. Kind of like it's pretty tight. So really, it almost moves like a two-piece, but then it just has that little bit of tail kick in the back. See, like you can kind of get that. You'll get that sort of like, I'm trying to get it to where, see, you'll kind of have like that tail flapping around, but not to where the whole body's just like moving like an S. So the front half is kind of like moving a little bit, like kind of like tracking back and forth, but that tail is actually the one that's kind of giving that loose movement. So it's almost like a fish that's kind of like just with its tail kind of kicking. So it's probably a better off meant to be slow speed because of that reason. It's not like the UFO where all the joints are really, really loose and allows the bait to just be burned really, really fast. So like a bull shad in a way where they're flat and flush. Oh, these damn rats. So yeah, that's kind of the thing with me, is that like if I'm using the rat, might as well just use the bigger ones anyway, because like I said, I've caught smaller fish on them and then also bigger fish. So I think you're just better off using that. Like if you can use like an 8-inch rat, you're probably good. Or like 8 inch to 10-inch is probably the best. So, and then trying to think of any other top water that's pretty interesting that I like to use. Oh, punker style walking baits. The punker baits, these, man, these are really good for around that 55 to 60 degree water, and probably even actually colder, honestly. I just never personally caught anything in that colder water with these, but when you're getting above that 55, man, these are really good because you can kind of go real slow and you kind of get that same sort of action you would with like a glide bait, and you just kind of, it's almost like a surface glide bait, really. And so you're just working that nice and slow, and you can work this over grass, on next to lilies, on from cover, like a wood cover, and work it away from it. Pretty much like anywhere really you could use like a walking bait in general, but these you could just work, slow and just methodically, give it a pause, and then when it pauses, they kind of sit in the water like this, like in an angle. So when those fish come up, they're more or less to get hooked on that back hook, and then if they come down over here, they're going to obviously get hooked a little bit easier versus that bait being like flush up like that and being like level on the water, and those hook being so far up. So it kind of lowers that hook down to the fish, and they can just grab it. And especially if you got the double split rings on them, you're not missing those fish. So that's why I like to use the double, because it only uses the 2 hooks. So, and some guys like to use EWGs too, bigger EWGs, but just put 2 split rings. So yeah, like I said, those 3-piece rats, that's why I like them, is because they have that tighter action to them. I was actually selling this guy. It seems like nobody wants them, but before I remember you could get like 160 for them or more, and then now I can't even sell this thing for like $95 or $100. And so, but it was this guy, the Lit Wars 3-piece. And I've had this guy up for sale for a minute, but I really don't use it like that. So, but it is a good bait. Like I said, maybe it's just meant for me to keep it, but it's got like that like muskrat sort of like color, but it's got a lot of flake in it. It's a color. It's got a regular like kind of coffin bill lip, but it's not that wide coffin bill. So it has a really nice tight action to it, and it's also a pretty quiet rat. It's not very loud. Like, and then if I kind of it's not really that loud. So, and it feels pretty light for its size. Like it's still a 3-ounce bait, but if for some reason it doesn't feel like that, like it feels pretty light. And like I said, it's pretty good. But it seems like they don't get any interest now. Is rats. Yeah, Jermaine, finally. And yeah, I'm still getting like a few residual colder weather, but I think within the next like beginning of April, it should be a game changer. Start getting better. I really wanted to go to the trout lakes before they ended up stocking them because it's gonna be crazy now. I couldn't get to there. But this is also another walking bait. This is a gill version though. This is the toxic slob stopper. So it's just a gill version of a walking bait. So this thing just walks, kind of goes like this, because it will have like this kind of like kind of goes to the side a little bit more than a punker does. But it's a pretty good bait, and I like that it has the little gill imitations with the skirt. So on the paws, those are just resting there, floating. So that's a pretty good, cool bait to use too. Not many, you can find those for pretty reasonable because guys always get rid of them. So they're not really using them like that. But you can find it for like 45, 40 bucks, sometimes 50. And I do have the. I think I've obviously shown this guy before, which was on the thing, but this is that trashy baits, the raw baits, trashy wake, and he makes good baits. He doesn't really do like drops like that. You can just contact him, and he'll just pretty much either make you one or put you on like a list that he has, and that's how he likes to do it. But I don't think he charges you though until he gets it to you to your bait. So, but like I said, this bait here is a really nice two-piece. Swims pretty natural for a two-piece too. You wouldn't think it would with as big as a gap as it has, but it has a really natural swim to where it's just like it just looks really good, especially like from above or like obviously underneath. They're gonna be looking at it, but it's really nice. And then it comes with this paint jobs from B&A, but his paint jobs have gotten really well because he uses airbrush now. So his paint jobs have come really far compared to what he has had in the past with his spray paint. But these baits here, man, I've seen some guys catch some massive fish on them. I've had these for a while, but I really haven't used them as much. But I've used it pretty much like maybe like a handful of times, really. So I need to definitely give it more time and try it more. But it's definitely a nice wake, and his prices are pretty good. I think it's like $100 or 110 for this bait here specifically. He has a smaller version. This is also like a thick bait as well, so it's going to put off a big profile, but it's not long, so it's real small, like short and chunky. So it's a pretty nice bait though, and it walks really nice. It has like sort of like a wood It's kind of like one of the one resin baits that actually has like almost like a wood sound to it. So as you're walking that, and it kind of walks sort of just like the rat. It'll kind of just like walk on itself, and it's really good that way. But you can also crawl it really slow, and it'll just have that tail kicking on just above like the water line, and it just knocks really nice. So, but his baits are pretty good, and he's definitely a good dude. He gets to you pretty quick, message you back, doesn't really have like crappy customer service. Let me see anybody. Dip it down to 75. 75. I can go outside in my damn underwear with that. That ain't cold. That's hilarious. That's like you don't even need the heater on for that. Yeah, they are wide. I used to have like a bunch of wide baits actually. I had to have a slap trout. I have this here. Damn, this is another bait I've actually been trying to get rid of because I really don't use it like that. It's also another good bait, and I don't get why his baits like you see on the hookup tackle. They damn near sold all his baits of the glide baits. Yeah, I've had this damn bait up for like 2 months for like $80 cheaper than retail, and I can't even sell it. And it makes no sense. But like I said, his baits are pretty nice, Rafa, and you got like the little imprint on the bill and everything. It's got like the little design. It's pretty sick, and it's got like that mean look to it. It's like angry crappie. But it's a wake and crank actually. It cranks down to like 2 feet. It is a pretty tough bait to like crank down. It's not like the easiest bait to do, but if you do have the right reel and the rod set up, it's not that bad. So that's why I think why a lot of guys don't like them, or they really don't sell that well, because they're not the easiest to crank down or just retrieve because of that bill. But I will say that this bait here is like impossible to snag. I've used it in a couple areas that you would think would get snagged, and especially near like lily pads and stuff like that. I've done it like literally in lilies, and it just crawled it through, and it pushed right through the lilies. And that bill is so big, like it's pretty much like impossible. The hook like sits like an inch above the point. It sits like above, like really high above the actual bill bottom. So, and the bill comes at like an angle like that. So it's really impossible. And then especially with these owner hooks that are the M35 type hook right here, you're not gonna, the 35M, ST35 MF. Yeah, I wish I had 85. The water would be so much warmer right now. I definitely know guys that swallow that shit. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, actually, I heard that recently too myself. When I was fishing the last time I was out, I started hearing like croaking a little bit as it was starting to get dark, and I was like, oh shit. and it was pretty shocking because it's still pretty early. But I also saw raspberries and stuff like that already sprouting, so I was like, that's a good sign. I also saw a couple yellow flowers, which is another good sign. It means that the ground temperature is like above 50, yeah, I think that means it's above 50, or 49 degrees at least, I think it means. But or the night temps are above at least 49 degrees. And so for most of the part, but I haven't really seen any purple flowers really or anything like that. So, but also another good sign too I've been seeing too is a foam on top of the water near where I fish. There's a lot of foam on top of the water, which is usually a sign of a lot of bait fish and stuff like that. It's like pretty much excrement and stuff like that. It comes from like the current, and but there you'll see like this foam sort of like on top of the water, and that's a good sign. It's like bubbles too. Adam, no. No. They hibernate, man. Frogs hibernate. They kind of go like dormant and they hide inside dirt. And then they just come back out when it gets cold. I mean, warmer. I've had frog legs. They're not bad. They're just, they kind of, if you don't make them right, kind of have like a muddy taste to them. And what is what does that mean? Like, what is it from, Frank? Like, what does fractionation mean? Like, is it like part of like some sort of occurrence, like with the water? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest, because it doesn't really, the ground temperature, really, I think what they go off is the ground temperature. If it gets too cold and obviously outside too, they're gonna go down in the ground. They'll make like little tiny burrows, like little holes. You'll see them on the edge of the bank too. They kind of look like crawfish holes in a way, and they make like these little burrows and they stay in there below the frost line so they don't freeze. Even though there is some frogs that can freeze and then not die, sort of like turtles. There's some turtles that could do the same thing. They could freeze almost and then pretty much get thawed out. He probably did. I don't, because I've never heard that, but who knows? That's why I didn't know. I was like, what the hell? But you know, like I said, that's definitely a couple things, and I've heard that from other people as well. When you know you see that, it's a good sign that the water's warming up. It might have to do with something with the water tension. The water, when it's too cold, the water tension isn't as good, so it doesn't create bubbles. But once it gets to a certain temperature, it's able to, I guess, do that. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much, I think, pretty much for like the weight baits, stuff like that. And the baits I pretty much had to show of stuff I like to use. I did also have the crawlers, but I've shown you guys that stuff pretty much already before. But that's another bait I like to use in the springtime. That works really well. and you can kind of imitate like a bird, pretty much like you kind of like if you have like blackbirds near you, blackbirds like to like pretty much nest near water, and their babies will fall out their nest sometimes and hit the water, and they can't really swim, so they just like be erratic, and they sometimes get eaten. But also can imitate just like a bat or something at nighttime as well, hitting the water and not being able to take off, and you just kind of crawling out on the surface. But underneath though, you kind of get like a minnow profile, so you're as it's going up through, you know, it's not moving like crazy. It's just going side to side, and it's really kind of like a minnow profile. So it could look like a lot of different things, really. So it's really a good bait to use all around. But I like to use them mainly in spots where it's kind of like over grass or like moss, where I know fish are probably hiding. Also, flats are pretty good with these too, just like the wakes. Also, near current breaks, crawlers seem to do pretty good too there. Just kind of get on the current breaks and just literally just go slow, and that thing will just usually gets bit pretty well. Especially if you see fish moving around, like chasing stuff, chasing bait and stuff. Bipolar, somehow they taking medication. Hydrophilic. The bubbles are stable. I I think that's kind of like what I was kind of saying with like the water tension. Might be what it is. Yeah, well, if the weather, you know, starts getting like how it is, where it doesn't get cold in the wintertime like that, you might as well just fish all year round. Tyler, I guess this is science lesson. Is this real? I don't know if anyone quite believes you. You sound too smart right now. No, I think he actually is. I've heard, like I said, I've heard something that's similar to that, but that creates like the foam. But I thought it was it's kind of like in layman's terms. I think it just means that the water tension is higher, so it allows for bubbles to be created. The water foam. Frank is right. It just went down a 5-minute rabbit hole. Yeah, you got that right. All right. Well, I think that was pretty much it, guys. I really didn't really have anything else that I really have as top water wise. I have a couple other like walking baits and stuff like that, but I think you guys pretty much know about walking baits. Uh, yeah, nah, nothing else really that I really. Oh, these little guys. I forgot about these. These little guys right here are pretty good. The little Biovex joint bait, and these could be used as a top water because they actually float. when they come stock, I put a little bit of weight on them to get them to sink really, really slow. But these little guys here, man, are really good. I actually prefer these over like the Buka bait, the bull, like the baby bullgill, because they have a little bit more of like a tighter swim to them. And also with that tail, it's kind of part of the joint, so that moves as well. It's not like just like a hard brush tail. So the actual tail moves with it, and I think it just gives it overall like more natural action to it. They also have like multiple sizes. This is the smaller version, but the smaller version gets bit, and I've actually lost one trying to like rescue another bait with it. I regret doing that, but I ended up getting like 2 more replacements because I really liked it a lot, and it got bit really, really well, especially when I was able to get it to slowly sink. Really, really slow, and it just worked really perfect in like shallow water, like 2 feet or less water. And it really was doing well, and maybe even like 3 feet or less too is pretty good. So, but these right here are really good. Definitely would recommend. They're not expensive neither. The Hookup Tackle has them for like the cheapest price. So, but they're not that bad. They're like 10 or 12 bucks. But they're pretty nice. And they definitely have a good minnow profile. I tend to like more like minnow profiles over anything really. They seem to get bit the best. It's right on the belly. It's just right here. I just use the board weights. And you're really supposed to. It tells you actually on the package. It's about 2 grams to get it to really slowly sink, like really slow. If you put just like under 2 grams, it'll sink extremely slow. And then also if you just change the hooks too, I changed the rear hook to a little bit heavier hook. And the front hook is the stock one that comes with it. But that is enough to really just get it down to slowly sink. But if you want it to sink a little bit heavier, you can add like a little bit over 2 grams, and it'll definitely sink a little quicker. And it has like a little bit of noise, not much. It's like I'm trying to figure out what is that making the noise. Huh. So something in there is making noise, but it doesn't, like, it stops, like it gets stuck. So it's called BioVex. Is the joint bait. I actually got one in a package that was broken. Right here. BioVex joint bait. The 110. This is the 110 model. Comes with the snap. And then, like I said, see, it says, yeah, 1 gram on each sink, so 2 grams total to make it slowly sink. Yeah, 2 grams is shy of an eighth. Just think about, I probably shouldn't say it like that, but I just know by like measurements, like sort of like you have like a quarter, which is 7 grams, a half ounce, which is 14 grams, 3/4 is 21 grams, so on and so on. But an ounce is 28 grams. So that's kind of how like I use it. But it's only 4.5 inches, 5/8 of an ounce, 17 grams, slow floating. Depth is 0 to 10 centimeters, which is like 5 inches or not even. It says when the bass are feeding and blowing up on shad on the surface, nothing shines more than the BioVex, which I agree that this bait really works well when they're chasing shad or minnow bait, minnows or things like that. Floating style swim is absolutely ideal when bass are looking up. The 4.5 highly detailed body matches the hatch perfectly. The jointed design allows the joint baits at 110 to be worked along the surface with a snake-like S pattern. Its innovative weight distribution allows to be worked at any speed, which is true. You can burn this thing really fast, and it really won't blow out. And enticing bites from bass anywhere, and you can kind of like work the bait where you're just like kind of like jerking it, and it'll actually kind of glide it out. It'll go like back and forth. It's pretty sick. It's a good bait, and like I said, it works very well and not very pricey. Yeah. Nah, I work for a place like that, Tyler, for the dispensary that are around here. 0.7. No, it's not the amount of weight that's for the weight. The board weight is the 2 grams, but the actual bait itself is 17 grams. So 3/4, almost 3/4 of an ounce. Yeah, when you get too much resin and the damn thing fucking bulbs up. It's disgusting. Maybe your expert in hydroponics. Yeah. There's a dispensary near me. We have a couple actually. But the like major big one that was like first was like not too far from me. It's like 5 minutes away. Yeah, it's close to like 3/4, yeah. But the board weights itself to actually get it to like slowly sink is 2 grams. So you got it's like Bill Nye, the science guy. Frank just comes in with his board, his whiteboard. Yeah, nah, yeah, that's what I use. Isopropyl. Isopropyl. I've always fucked the name up. That or that forget that damn name. 718 or 817, whatever the hell it is. But all right, it's definitely getting late. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for sticking around and definitely chatting with me. That's pretty much what I have pretty much for tonight. And I'll probably get on more stuff once I start actually catching more fish. I did actually forget a couple. Damn it! I just realized that. Damn it! Which was this damn Megabass over rev crank, and this is a good bait. It has it has that casting system in it. It has a lot of roll to it. It's not really too loud of a bait. And it's got a nice profile. Definitely good for burning. You can burn this bait like as fast as you want, and it won't blow out on you. It's a pretty nice bait, and the bill design is pretty unique. It just has, like I said, a ton of roll. But like I said, it's not really loud bait, really. So that one, let me do like a little speed run of the few baits I forgot to show. This guy is called the Amakatsu Inside Bowler. This is a bladed wake bait. It's got a little chin blade. There's a little tiny weight inside. It's actually it's pretty much like a rubber ball that's inside the bait, but it's shaped like a football head. And what it's supposed to do is, as it's bouncing around, it doesn't bounce back and forth. It's actually the whole bait is like an open chamber. You kind of see that there. And as you shake it, the ball kind of goes all over the place and kind of shoots all around the bait, and it causes the bait to kind of like hunt randomly. It'll kind of like shoot out one way, then come back to center, go like out, come back in, go out, come back in. So that's really the purpose of that. But it's pretty nice little wake bait, and like I said, that blade just spins on the bottom, so you get a little bit of extra flash. Um, a pretty opaque paint job, or translucent sort of paint job, but it doesn't have any noise though, which is kind of cool. That rattle that's inside, or weight that's bouncing all around, makes no noise. So see, it's like rubber coated, so it makes no noise. So it's pretty smart. And then this other one is the Griffin Zero, which is also another really good finesse style wake bait crank. It's a pretty small bait. It's got an interesting design where it has this little tiny hole on the belly right there, and allows water to kind of like get inside. It's like a cavity, and what that does is creates water tension for the bait to allow the bait to stay down underwater for a longer period, and then it'll just float up. But you don't have to use any weight, so that's what the whole purpose was behind that. The bait is also not really loud. It uses like little glass rattles, and it's pretty light ticking noise. It's not very high pitched noise. It's not really a hard like one knock type noise. So it's pretty nice. But those were the two that I forgot. There was also another one, since it's the end, nobody's gonna be watching it. This is the little J-Boy crank. This little guy is like a little mini head and big bud. And this bait right here works very, very well in the beginning of the year, or pre-spawn type of deal. 60, 55 degree water, and you can wake this. You can kind of like twitch it like a minnow bait. You can kind of rip it, and it'll kind of pop. It'll make like a little that little clanking that you hear from the blades. They kind of hit each other, and it makes that kind of clinking noise. And then also you can kind of, like I said, twitch it, which kind of just twitch like a sort of like a jerk bait and walk like that, like back and forth, like a little minnow. And like I said, I've caught big snakehead. I caught my actually like one of my biggest snakeheads I've had on this bait here, and these are the original hooks it has, and they're still good. So definitely a really good bait. They're not easy to get, but they have them at the hookup in a few colors. So. The Amakatsu Inside Bowler. That's literally yeah, the Inside Bowler. So yeah, so those were the few ones, and then the Timber Tiger, the one like the OGs. And this is the shallow one. So this one runs real shallow. It's pretty much like a wake bait. There is also a bigger one I have of this one, and it's the same thing. It just runs pretty shallow. It's sort of like a man's in a way, baby one minus in a way that it runs. But this one just has that sort of wood deflection sides that are meant for deflecting near wood and stuff like that. So you can use this near wood and things like that. And you'll probably be a little bit better off not like using a regular like smaller weight that doesn't obviously have like a cover deflection type deal. But it's a pretty good bait, and I've had caught a couple good sized fish last year on this specific color here. It was like a 3 and a couple 2s that I caught on this one. But like I said, it's a good bait, and Epic Eric sells them for a pretty good price on his website. I'm not sure if he still has any in stock, but they're definitely yeah, Eric's red hooks, yeah, they're pretty good. I don't they do dull a little bit faster, but I don't care. I'll replace them anyway. weight like this Bro John, that would be 500. The second bait. You talking about this one? The this one? Or what other bladed one were you talking about? I don't. Oh, this one. This is the INX label, J-Boy. It's on the hookup tackle. You can find the. It's literally just put J-Boy on the thing. J dot boy. Like. Oh, you're talking about the Amakatsu one. Yeah, the Amakatsu is just called the inside bowler, literally. Yeah, he's smart. He's got like a damn shit ton. He got the damn original blanks. I don't even know how you do that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much does it for tonight. Again, thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys can hit the like button, it definitely helps. And if you can leave a comment as well, it helps kind of YouTube share the video around and push it around to other people. I really appreciate that. Again, thanks, and have a good rest of your week. And talk to you guys next time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.